Oppenheimer is forever going to change cinema as we know it, for three reasons.
Its soundtrack, presentation, and cinematography. But for some reason, this historical biopic about a less well-known man is doing so well. Every once in a blue moon, Christopher Nolan releases a dark, gritty movie on the same day as another colorful, cheerful, and musical film. These two contrasting films work in tandem with one another, creating a hilarious marketing campaign. Before, it was in 2008 with Mama Night. And this time around, it's Barbenheimer. Usually, it's two very similar films coming out, but this double feature was different. It's really seldom when historical biopics about a relatively unknown man are super successful. So why did it work now? Well, of course, Christopher Nolan's name attached to the project draws a massive audience to the films, especially from film nerds. However, adding Barbie into the mix adds a ton of non-traditional passive cinema goers into Oppenheimer for the double feature. Then we get all sorts of people watching. So now that most people have seen this movie, Oppenheimer has once again left an impact on the world, but this time with cinema. From the minute you get into watching, you're instantly hit with the soundtrack that sets the tone. It's so beautiful, whimsical, passionate, and elegant, while at the same time, it sparks fear, anxiety, and horror into us and Oppenheimer. Ludwig Göransson created a masterpiece that encaptures what this film is. It gives a deeper insight by letting us actually hear what Oppenheimer is feeling. The score mirrors the turmoil within and blends with the visuals to intensify Oppenheimer. I also cannot express enough that the sound design was genuinely perfect. Christopher Nolan's use of silence was something you don't see often, yet he does it so well. The stomping that Oppenheimer hears was terrifying, and again, it serves as a gateway to his mental state. All of these things and more go above the bare minimum for film and are game-changing. People really underestimate how important soundtracks are, and this film shows its power. This score propels the storytelling and leaves an indelible mark on everyone's subconscious. Nolan also breaks the stereotype around biopics. Usually they're boring and basic, but Christopher Nolan presents this film from Oppenheimer's perspective. In fact, the script for this film was written in first person, and the actors commented on how unique that was. And of course, it's not a Nolan film if the story isn't intricate and non-linear. The narrative unfolds through a series of intersecting timelines, distinguishable by black and white and color scenes. It also further emphasizes the sporadic nature of Oppenheimer, and how he too would go back and forth with himself. This approach demands the audience to be actively engaged with the film, like they're solving a puzzle. This worked so well because Oppenheimer's life is not well known, so there's much more leeway when doing this style. The film also very much leans into his humanity, and Florence Pugh's character shows us from the beginning his destructive personality. Like how he destroyed his relationship with his wife, he destroyed the world with his Trinity, a poem that Jean loved. Their scene together, although very, very odd, highlights Oppenheimer's humanity. As the story's pieces falls into place, we're rewarded with a sense of revelation and awe. The end truly gives a satisfactory feeling that the whole film led up to, yet also left us with a terrifying revelation about our world today. The black and white aspects were also artistically interesting, but left many confused as to what they could mean. The common interpretation is that these scenes are from the perspective of Strauss, but I disagree. I believe this technique is showing the objective, black and white truth about Oppenheimer and gives a harsher sense of reality. This film breaks the mold for biopics, showing that they can be visually interesting and engaging, while also remaining artistic. There's so many interpretations you can take away from different scenes, lots of nuance and subtlety that you most likely won't understand all of it in one showing. This is a film where you can learn something new every single time, and it's so complex. And that's all thanks to Christopher Nolan, who has a keen eye for this stuff, and we see that in the cinematography. This is visual storytelling at its peak. He pushes the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Nolan, of course, films on IMAX, and created black and white IMAX just for this movie. This film captures the expansive landscapes and beautiful moments in order to make an immersive and grand feeling. Nolan also uses practical effects over CGI, to make an authentic and tangible feeling to every frame, going so far as to recreate the bomb itself. And wow, the Trinity test was truly, truly immersive. My heart was pounding during the bomb drop and got me so emotional. It felt like I was right there witnessing this history. From the sound to the visuals, it was breathtaking. And I appreciate that it didn't show the bombings of Japan. It would have taken away the focus from Oppenheimer. And Nolan does a great job at showing its toll on him, with deep focus shots allowing us to take every detail, or close-up shots reinforcing emotional connections with characters. You're really in this movie experiencing this journey alongside Oppenheimer, yet you could never really know him. Like I said before, this film is complex, but sometimes I think it's a little too complex. While I think that makes for a more interesting watch and eventually satisfying feeling to uncover everything, average moviegoers will likely not appreciate that. This film is not perfect and has its flaws. It's important to acknowledge that. But despite those flaws, this film manages to become one of the best Christopher Nolan films of all time. Some may think it's too long, but I personally think the time flies by. There's so many things going for this film that it almost feels like a crime not to acknowledge it all. With a cast like this, your film is going to have extremely strong performances. Cillian Murphy is the perfect Oppenheimer. He makes you want to become a physicist. Words cannot describe how amazing he is as the leading man. Emily Blunt gives a stellar performance as per usual. Matt Damon seemed like an odd pick at first, but he was amazing. And most notably was Robert Downey Jr., showing that he's much more than Iron Man and brought his A-game to deliver a top-tier performance. Also, there's Roderick, young Han Solo, Josh, Harry Osborn, Polka Dot Man, Michael, Papa, Huey, and Freddie Mercury. This cast is stacked with celebrities. The set design, costume, editing, writing, just everything is so well done. Oppenheimer sets a new standard of excellence for the art and craft of filmmaking. This film is a testament to the skill of not just Christopher Nolan, but everyone involved in the process. This film will inspire filmmakers to go above and beyond in their work and to take pride in what they do. Theory will only take you so far. With the decline in cinema after the pandemic, it's truly refreshing to watch a film that does filmmaking right. Nolan and his team come together to deliver a film that embarrasses action blockbusters, that embarrasses poorly written comedies, and that embarrasses money-hungry studios. Oppenheimer has become
The destroyer of cinema. And what a beautiful thing that is.